Speculation over Turner's resignation continues to this day. With both inflation and unemployment climbing, and no consensus within the government on how to deal with them, Turner decided staying in finance would be the graveyard of his career. So he left, promising to be watching over the government's shoulder.
I will be speaking out on the economy. I will be practicing law. I will be involved in what goes on in the Canadian community.
As a corporate lawyer here on Bay Street, Turner was quickly adopted by the world of big business and big law. Companies wanted his views, and he liked theirs.
They came to him. There were 40 people who, before they knew what he was going to do, wanted him on their board.
Directorships and big legal fees. It was a happy marriage for Turner as he traveled the country and the world on behalf of the corporate big hitters.
He enjoys being with people in the business community. He likes business. He likes businessmen. He believes in what they're doing in the society.
Here in the company of the people who own Canada, Turner endorsed the private sector view that big government was becoming big business's competitor for the country's financial resources. It convinced him that government's share of the economic pie should be smaller, and that business-government relations should be improved. Turner's committed to push economic growth, but the real attention will be on the private sector. Business will expect support for free enterprise, but others will wonder if he's incurred political debts.
No, I don't think that John Turner has any outstanding debts to the business community, if that's what you mean. The work he's done professionally, the work he's done on boards, he's made his contribution, he's been paid for it, so there's no debts either way.
No debts, perhaps, but a major influence on his political perspective.
At the moment, the main voice coming into him has been from Bay Street. He's had an extraordinary education the last 2 months because he realized that because of that cocoon he was living in, he had misjudged the party and misjudged the country. He had to learn that. He learned it very quickly. That was the progress you saw through the 2 months. I think that will continue, that he'll find it harder and harder to have his business community contacts speak very loudly to his ear, because he'll find that if he listens too closely to them, he'll offend the party, let's just put him in, and he'll offend the country to an extent.
Use the old cliche, this is the first day of the rest of my life. Here we are.
Trudeau's resignation was also the first day of John Turner's new life. His old nemesis gone, Turner's date with destiny seemed already set as he returned from a Jamaican holiday. For some Liberals, there was a glint of opportunism in Turner's grasp for the Trudeau mantle.
Politics is a question of taking advantage of opportunities, but no one ever goes into the kind of meat grinder of a leadership campaign and the awesome task of being a prime minister without having something inside saying, I want to do it and I can do it.
He really feels that becoming a prime minister was leaving a very comfortable, happy life to enter a mud wrestling contest. So that it was his duty to go into that. The duty partly came from his mother, partly came from the type of education he had, and partly came from a very, very, very deep religious conviction, which a Roman Catholic.
Back in the spotlight again, his absence from politics showed. There was many a furrowed brow as Turner tried to cope with how the game had changed while he was away. It forced Turner to spell out a new agenda for a new time. On platforms from Halifax to Vancouver, Turner offered his version of political alchemy: fiscal responsibility with a heart, slashing the deficit without slashing social programs, a new role for women, a promise to put money instead of words into the concept of equality, a new deal for Western Canadians, a promise of power and prestige in return for ballots. Long on commitment, short on details, the Turner style won the votes, if not the hearts, of the Liberal Party. Turner survived the campaign gauntlet by sticking to the cautious approach that served him so well in the past.
I don't see John Turner sliding down banisters or doing dance steps behind the Queen, or things like that. Even though some people don't like it, it does add a little touch.
I don't think anybody really gets close to John Turner. I don't even think John Turner gets close to John Turner. I think that he set up so many guards and shields and protections around himself that that have become him in a way. But that is he's a very uptight, serious, determined human being who's always slightly scared of making a mistake, sometimes terrified of making a mistake. It's part of the caution that characterizes the man.
This is the first week of John Turner's new life, and he spent it huddled here at the Chateau Laurier, talking to old friends and checking out new colleagues as he works on the transition. And he's rapidly discovering that winning was the easiest part of the challenge. Now he has to deal with the obligations he's incurred, to cabinet ministers, to Western Canadians, and to the business community that's expecting him to reduce the deficit while creating new jobs. And in the midst of all this, he has to decide the timing of a new election.